Hello, everybody. Uh, my name is Gary. I am a ukulele teacher in Denver, Colorado, and we are going to be working on Brahms Lullaby today. I want you to go to I want you to. I don't know if you're going to do it. Go to jollyrogerukulele.com, and on the front page of jollyrogerukulele.com is all the sheet music and the schedule and links to fascinating things that you need to get started with. And then, of course, throughout the website is just so much sheet music that it's ridiculous, and so many great songs and so many cool playing techniques that you should come and hang out with us. And glad you're here today. It is 12:03, so we're going to start the class in a couple minutes. I'm busy posting all of our links and getting Twitter up and running, and who knows what else I'm doing. I don't know what the heck I'm doing, but what I do know is that I'm glad you're here, and you have printed out Brahms Lullaby. That'll be our big activity for today. Oh, I made myself blurry in the photo. Dang God, I hate it when I do that. All right, so I'm blurry today. I'm blurry every day. You're not here to look at me. You're here to play ukulele. And https:// Jolly Roger ukulele.com. And my little face doesn't pop up anymore, so I'm gonna have to start adding in a thing. I'll make a little advertisement for it, and that's it. So we're all set with Twitter. Um, I follow a guitarist who always writes everything in, doesn't always, most of the time she writes in Arabic, but sometimes she writes in English. And so when she posts this in Arabic, I'm always like, oh my gosh, that's crazy looking language. Wonder what she's saying. I don't know why it looks great. It just looked crazy because we're not used to it, but it's beautiful. Finding like, wonder what she's talking about. Hopefully, um, she will repeat it in English at some point. Let's see here. Um, all right, all right. Let's see. There must be something going on with the Great British Bake Off. I see all of my Great British Bake Off people that I follow posting something, and there must be something exciting happening. I don't know what's going on. If you haven't been to the website, Jolly Roger Ukulele, go there today. We're going to do Brahms Lullaby today, and then we're going to talk about a concert tomorrow. Today is actually a fairly short lesson because you just need me to explain to you what to do, and then your job is to work on it. And so Brahms Lullaby is absolutely one of my favorite tunes, and every single song I teach in this program is one of my very favorite tunes. How come I don't have Brahms Lullaby in my computer? It must have been a while since I taught it, so it's down in storage. Let's pull it out of the storage file. Downloads, ukulele. As you're logging in, obviously lots of ways to participate in the class or not. It's totally up to you. What we do, if you have a Gmail account, you can log into YouTube, and then YouTube will let you participate in the chat bar over here. If you don't want to chat, perfectly fine. If I explain everything perfectly, you may not need to chat. Most time I am far from perfect. And so sometimes you want to ask questions or say something cute or funny. That's what the chat bar is for. Also, if you have logged in, then you can like and subscribe to my video channel, and I become super famous and popular that way. And then what else do we need to talk about? I think Brahms Lullaby is identical. Yeah. Okay, so let's do that. So I think what we'll do is I'll teach you the song in ukulele. So look at the ukulele page. That's not true. Look at whatever your instrument is. If you're on baritone, look at your baritone page. If you're on ukulele, look at your ukulele page. And then we'll go back in and try doing a ensemble piece afterward. Okay, but let's learn to play the song first, and then we'll play it with both instruments. So right now, just look at your particular version of Brahms Lullaby, and I'll pull up. I've got ukulele here. I'll put baritone up here. Make sure that they're the same. I believe note for note they are identical. They're just in different keys. I'm pretty sure I tried to do that so that Okay, so the baritone one, I forgot to put the repeats on there. And on the ukulele one, they're wrong. All right, so the little chat box up above that says repeats, just ignore that. I got to clean up both of these on that regard. But I believe everything else is note for note the same, so it is. Okay, and so today, we're going to talk about, obviously, um, oh, the only thing that's different is the very last chord in baritone. It's actually smarter on ukulele. Okay, so now I know what I'm dealing with. Let's get started. Oh, hi everybody! I forgot to say hi to everybody. Bruce, welcome in, and Bruce is in from Virginia. Um, I'm going to remember that. Bruce is Virginia. Bruce is in Virginia. Elizabeth is in from Bozeman, Montana. Howdy, Elizabeth. I heard you guys had a little wind last night. A few roofs were taken off in Bozeman last night. Pretty legit. Linda's in from Colorado Springs. Donna's in from Lakewood. That's a suburb of Denver here. We had wind all last night too, but I don't think it was Bozeman style wind. They had 70, 60, 75 mile an hour up there. Down here in Denver, we had an annoying 50 mile an hour wind that went all night. Dave is in from Michigan. Dave, Michigan. Dave, Michigan. Dave, Michigan. Dave, Michigan. It's going to sneak in. Janice is in from Scotland. Wi-Fi playing. Hang in there, Janice. Yeah, it's interesting the fact that we have Wi-Fi all over the world, and when we log in to do these things, that oddly enough, think about what's going on. Here's what's fascinating. Okay, so I'm talking. Sound is going into these microphones over here, and then they're going down through an audio interface, and then they're coming into my computer. Video is going through this weird little camera I had to buy, and then it goes down through the wire and into the thing. So then this computer then takes all that information and scrambles it up and sends it through the internet. Okay, and for me, that takes it and sends it over through the air to a box on the other side of the house. That little box takes it and further scrambles it, and then they run it through a wire into another place, right? And then that place, another machine somewhere, and that machine then shoots it into outer space, and then it ends up in all these Wi-Fi servers, and then it comes through your machine and through your computer and blah 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 back to your house. And the fact that that can happen at all is miraculous. The other thing that's interesting about that is that probably some of you, like if I say this right now, in half a second or so at your house, I go, right? But if you are halfway around the world, I probably go this, and then you don't know about it for a little while, and then finally I do this. So there's all these different lag times that go with that, and all sorts of technical issues. And so let's just be glad that this works even a little bit, and go with that. We're getting kind of having higher expectations for the internet than maybe we ought to, but we are very lucky to have it. Vic is in from Oregon. Mary's in from Golden, suburb of Denver. Jim, 26 degrees in Fort McMurray. It's cold there today, Jim. I don't like that. Rob's in from Texarkana. Another pretty day down there. Oh, he's got a job. Yeah, get rid of that job, Rob. Turns out it's going to get in your way of ukulele playing. Let's see. Connie is in today. She's from Broomfield. Not windy yet, or I guess we might get a little bit more wind. Ray's in. He's a local here. Kelly Becker. Don't know if I've met you before. It's a pretty bad day in Lakewood. Do I know you, Kelly? Are we pals? I don't know. I like your scissors. That's what I like. Diane is here. She's a local. Elizabeth said the wind was blowing giant tumbleweeds down the interstate. I spent a few years down in New Mexico, and there was one time we were driving out to Gallup, New Mexico, which is out in the middle of, you talk about, you go to nowhere and then you go to Gallup. It's really out there. And there were these giant tumbleweeds rolling across the thing as we're going out there. Well, we get to this one point where they've stacked up on the fence and they've blown so much that they're actually out into the highway. And all these truckers were just blasting through there, and tumbleweeds were going everywhere. It was unbelievable. Pat says, don't get to listen live often, usually from the archives, following from Arkansas. Good to have you, Pat. I'm really delighted you're here. Glad you're here. you guys know if you can't make it live, that's perfectly fine. Go stop by the archives. I think the only thing the live session does is give you access to the chat bar, and also maybe it promotes accountability. Like, oh, I got to go to my ukulele class, as opposed to, well, I should go listen to that archive, right? It's a different level of urgency there, and so glad to have you. And let's see, Mary is, yeah, it is magic how the internet works. Kelly, we're not formally. Okay, good to meet you, Kelly. One of these days, since you're local, I will meet you formally. And internet magic, internet magic. Okay, Brahms Lullaby. I'm going to show you how to play it on your instrument. You're going to make the sound. Okay, so the first thing, I'm going to skip the chords and I'm going to skip the melody. Okay, we're going to start right off on Tough Uke today. So the first thing I need to do on your second string, you got 2 zeros, right? So you're looking at the Tough Uke line, and this is going to be the chord and the melody together. We're going to do that first so we can learn how to play it. Then I'm going to play it on ukulele and on baritone, and we're going to play all the other ways, and then we're going to work on a duet and all this stuff. So today's kind of fun. So the first thing, and my lighting is weird, you're going to play 2 zeros on the second string, plum, plum, la, la. And then you're going to put 003 and strum down with your thumb. 003, bye. And then you're going to take that ring finger off and hit 2 zeros. La, la, and then put it right back on. 003, thumb down, bye. Then you're going to hit 03 with 03. And then bunny hop over to this 3, full strum, row. And then you're going to hit the 2 here. Just hit it by itself. Zez. And then a 0. B. And now put your G7 shape on. For baritones, it's D7. Okay, so put that full shape on. And then you're going to hit 0, which is the top string. It's already open. Then you're going to magically hit a 2. And you're going to hit a 1. Problem is you're holding down a 2. So lift this finger up. Don't play it. And hit the 0. So it's 0, 2, 1, 0. Strum. And with your ring finger, you're going to reach up and grab that 3 on the second string again, pluck that, and you're already holding down the following 2 with that finger, okay? Then you're going to hit a 0 at the end of measure 5, so just take everybody out, 0. Don't take everybody out. That was a dumb direction. Take your index finger up. You probably leave your middle finger right where it was. Hit the 0, and then put that index finger right back down. 0, 2, 1, strum. You're already holding down the next 2 twos, so you're going to pluck those, pluck, and then again, lift your index finger up, hit the 0, and then put it right back down. 0, 2, 1, strum it down, and then you're going to play 2, 1, 2, 1, and now you're going to need your full G7 shape, so index, middle, and ring, and you're going to strum all 4, strum, and then you're going to lift up your ring finger to get the 0, O, reach it up to the 3 on the second string, pluck that, 3, and then you're going to put it right back where it's supposed to be, hit the 2, 2, and then a nice C chord, 0, 0, 0, 3. Or for baritones, it's a G chord, strum it all the way down, okay? Now, things are going to get a little bit tougher here. If that wasn't tough enough, okay, we played a lot of C's and a lot of G7s to get started. Now we're adding an F, okay? So the next thing is 0, 0, 0, 0, okay? Measure 10. Those of you guys who've had ukulele, a little bit of, you've gone over to some of the sing-along sites and you've gone to your local thing, your F chord, index and middle, okay? And we covered that, guys, was it Monday we covered it? This is your F chord, index finger here, middle finger there, okay? But in chord melody, the chord is an F, but the melody note is sitting right down here in 3. So I'm going to teach you what I do and what you probably are going to do. And when we teach this, we say, all right, if it's in a 1, you should use your index finger. If it's 2, you should use your middle finger. And if it's a 3, you should use your ring finger. And when you see 2, 0, 1, 3, that's an F chord, and the melody's on 3, you think that this makes sense, right? In there, and use your ring finger. And it might make sense for you depending on your hand shape. I have found over the years that this doesn't work. It's just, too often this ring finger is going to end up dragged down here, end up on the top of the metal bar. It just doesn't work. So I have switched to always putting my pinky, when I have an F chord and I have a 3 on the top string, I now always use my pinky there. Okay, and for baritone, this is a C chord with your pinky up here. And for baritone, you almost have to use your pinky. It's just the nature of holding it this way, getting your F chord on or C chord, depending on which instrument you're using. And then your ring finger just has this natural shape where it goes bam, right down on top of that bar, and that's not what we want. So just switch it out. Use your pinky in this case. It's a little bit of an exception to the rule, okay? So 2, 2, 2, and then 0, and then 1, and then a pinky on 3. Strum, okay? And then the next two notes are 0-1. So I'm just going to lift up my pinky and play 0-1. And then I've got 0-0-3. So again, I'm going to put my ring finger on the second string at 3, play it down. Measure 11.5. I've got 0-0. So that, play those two, second string, then third string. Now I got to go back to my G7 shape. Okay, and notice 0-2-1 that's come up a whole bunch of times already in the song. It's just a G7, but you only play 3 strings, and then make sure that your thumb rests on the first string. So you strum down on that. Next note's a 3. So again, push your ring finger out there and pluck that. And you got a 0. That's the next on the first string. So pluck that. And then in measure 13, you got 0-0-3. Well, you're already holding it down, so just go ahead and strum it. Okay, now measure 13.5, 2 more zeros on the third string, pluck, pluck. And then you've got that F chord with your pinky again. Okay, and for baritone players, it's the C chord with your pinky. 2, 0, 1, 3. Strum. And then you're going to hit 0, 1. So you got to lift up your pinky, and then now it's a 0, 0. And then this note here is already being held down, so pluck that. And then 0-0-3. Strum. Now you have 0-0, so that's second string and then third string. And then we're going to go back to your G7, again, 0-1. This comes up a lot in the song, right? 0-1, strum that down. And then a 0 by itself, so just lift up your index finger, 0. If you left your middle finger down, you were thinking ahead, right? Didn't need to lift that up, so hit the 2, and then 0-0. Blum. Okay, then we repeat that whole thing. Okay, so what I want to do first, I want to play it on ukulele. Ukulele players, you guys are going to play with me for 2 times through. You're going to mess up a lot. This is the first. This is the first of hundreds of tough uke lines you're going to be playing. And so the first day, if you play it perfectly, I'm going to be like, well, I don't know how that's possible. Okay, you're going to mess up a lot. I'm going to go crazy slow. We're going to play all the way down through 17. Then we're going to come back and we're going to fix. Play down through measure 18 and skipping 17. Okay, very slow. Baritone players, hang out. Oh, I guess baritone players, if you want to play along, you're looking at the ukulele sheet music, not the baritone piece of music. You got to look at the ukulele one. You could play these chords. Your chords are C chord, and then you have a G7 chord, which is right here, and then you have an F chord, which is this one. Okay, so you could theoretically play along with us using your chords shapes instead of the shapes that are on the paper. And it's 3 strums per measure, or just 1 strum per measure, so that gives you time to think about what your next chord looks like. So remember that C chord is this shape, G7 chord is this shape, and F chord is a bar here and here and here. That's from a couple of days back, we learned that. Okay, so baritone players, if you want to play chords while we play straight ukulele music, you can do that. Otherwise, you can hang out, and then we'll get to your side. Okay, so from the top, ukulele players, try the tough uke. Try it. It doesn't matter if it goes well. 1, 2, 0, 0, 0-0-3, 0, 0-0-3, 0-3, full C chord, play the 2, play the 0, put a G7 on, but don't put your ring finger down yet. Now put your ring finger down on the 3rd fret, 2nd string, hit the 2 and the 0, so you're going to hit the 2 and then lift up your ring finger and your index finger, and then put your index finger back down, 0-1, hit the 2, you're already holding down the 2, lift up your index finger to get the 0, and then 0-1. Okay, again, just putting them both down. Okay, now I've got a 2-1, already holding them down. Now you're going to add your ring finger on the bottom. Now it's officially a G7. Play all 4 strings. Take your middle ring finger back up to get the 0. Put it way out on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. Okay, and then you're going to put it back on the 2. And then you play 0-0-0-3. Hit the 2 zeros. Here's here's this F chord with your pinky on 3. And 0, 1, so just lift up your pinky. You're already holding down the 1. And then 0, 0, 3. And then lift up your ring finger, 0, 0. Put on a G7, play 3 strings of that. Ring finger up on 3. Play the 0, it's already open. And then 0, 0, 3, just lose these 2 guys. Hit 2 zeros. F chord with your pinky on top. Then take your pinky off for the 0 and 1, you're already holding them down. 0, 0, 3. Hit the 2 zeros, just pull your ring off. Now you've got your G7 shape again, 0, 2, 1. Lose the index finger. You're already holding down the 2. And then 2 zeros. Let's go to the top. Measure 2. Measure 3. Measure 4. Measure 5. 6. Measure 7. Already holding a 2 and 1 down. Full G7. Feels like relief, right? Measure 10. F chord with your pinky. 0, 1. 0, 0, 3. 0, 0. G7 shape. Grab the 3 with your ring. 0, 0, 3. Measure 14 coming up. F chord with your pinky. 0, 0, 3. 0, 0. G shape, G7 shape. And then jump to measure 18, which is a regular C chord. Okay. Now, if your mind is like, oh, that really hurt, I want to pay attention, just go back and think about what you were thinking about as we were going through this. What you were thinking about was, I got to get my shapes on. I got to move this finger. I got to move that finger. The sound sounds like Gary's playing all right, but it sounds way different than what I'm playing because I'm playing it poorly. Right? Gary's playing it super slow, hoping that I will keep up with him, but I'm having a super hard time keeping up. You're not thinking about, here's what you're not thinking about. Got to do the laundry. Got to go pick up the kids. Got to write a letter to the governor. I got to pay that utility bill. I had a really crummy day yesterday. Oh, by the way, the wind blew my roof off. You're not thinking about any of that. So magically, all of the problems that you have in life vanish when you're playing chord melody ukulele. So, it's temporary, obviously. As soon as you're done playing them, then you got to deal with me, and you got to deal with the fact that the dog needs to get to the groomer or whatever it is in your life. But the nice part about it, this is a little mini mental escape playing in this way. What will happen over time is it will get easier. You'll start to see patterns. They'll come up over and over and over again. You will feel like, you know what? I need a little miniature mental vacation from my life. I'm going to go play ukulele for 10 minutes or a half an hour or 3.5 weeks. And you're always thinking about, all right, I'm taking the chords, I'm adding some melody, squishing them together. That's a whole lot of stuff. We're going to go back and talk about the chords and the melody in just a second, because for some of you, this is going to be like, not for me yet, okay? Every one of my students who sticks with me, eventually, this is all they want to do is play tough uke, okay? I make them do other stuff, but that's really what they want to do because it sounds beautiful. It sounds like, oh my gosh, I am an incredible musician. It is very challenging. And the good news is when you finally are able to play tough uke, which is also known as fingerstyle or chord melody, when you are finally able to do this, you are playing at the highest level. Those of you guys who know Jake Shimabukuro, very famous ukulele player, if you watch him, he's playing chords and he's playing melody. He's not singing, right? He's just doing this. He's doing it super fast and super weird chords and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, this is what he's doing. And so you are now sort of easing into that arena. And what are we on? Lesson 9, 8, something like that? We are going to get you there. Now, the only way that this doesn't work, okay, and there is a way it doesn't work, and that's if you decide, it's not for me, or it's too hard, or I gotta go, I got things to do today. I'm not going to do that. When you start finding reasons to not show up, then you start losing your ability to do this. So I do recommend that you try to pull out your ukulele every day, if at all possible. And then start with this piece of sheet music, or go grab Spaghetti Monster, or go grab something, and really try to play it in all these different ways that I give to you. And that way you just can keep your mind in the game, right? That's the hardest part of playing a musical instrument in the beginning, is just continuing to show up and keep your mind in the game. Practicing by yourself is extremely boring and most of the time incredibly inefficient and not necessarily helping you out a lot. But showing up here and really going through a song in slow detail, trying to get that's actually going to make a difference. I'm switched over to baritone. If you want to play baritone, guys, or play with, if you've got a ukulele in your hand and you want to play with the baritones, you can do that by play the chords. And let me pull up my baritone version of this. Which is also needing to be in the archive. So give me just a second to pull it out of the storage bin down. I had to reset this. They reset this computer for me a while back with that update, and all of the stuff that I had in the library has now disappeared into the dark abyss of storage. All right, so Brahms Lullaby. Now, guys, if you're on a ukulele, their G chord, baritone G chord is this. Your G chord is this. We learned this earlier in the week. Good chance for you to practice getting your D chord or G chord on. And then their D7 looks like your G7. But ukulele players, your D7 is take these two fingers that are part of the G chord, jump them up here, and you can play along with me. Okay. And then the only other chord on here is a C chord, and you already know that's your C chord. It's hanging out right here. Theirs is here. Ukulele one is here. Okay, baritone players. Let's talk about you. Every single thing is the same on your sheet music, except the last chord, and we're going to fix that last chord. Okay, so what we need to do is, I'm going to put that on there or I'll forget. Okay, when you get down to the very last measure, measure 17, on your tough uke it says 0, 0. You can just write on there 0 and 3 right on top of it. It's going to be a full G chord when we get there. Okay. The singer holds the same melody note. Sweet, may your dreams be so sweet. But you as the baritone player is going to say, may your dreams be so sweet. Okay. So you end up with the octaves. It sounds beautiful. Let's walk through the whole thing. We'll go real slow and we'll play it twice. Okay. From the top. 2 zeros, and then 0, 0, 3, 2 more zeros, 0, 0, 3, 0, 3, full G chord here, hit the 2, hit the 0, D7 shape, don't put down your ring finger, put it over on the 3rd fret, 2nd string, hit the 2, lift up both pinky and ring, index and ring, sorry, and then put your index back down. 2 more 2s. Open. 0, 2, 1. 2, 1. You're already holding them down. Add your ring finger on the 2. Lift it back up. Reach forward to get the 3. And then put it back down on the 2. And then 0, 0, 0, 3. G chord. Hit the 2 zeros. C chord. Add your pinky on the 3rd fret. For you guys, for sure, you're going to want to do this. This is really not ever going to happen very well to do a C chord with your ring finger there. So definitely on baritone, you got to use your pinky there. Strum that. 0, 1, you're already holding them down, so just lift up your pinky. And and then 003. And notice my thumb is doing the rest stroke, both ukulele and baritone players. Make sure you notice how often my thumb is actually just resting on a string because I don't want it to go off. Okay, and then I got two more zeros. 0, 2, 1. Ring finger on the 3. Hit the 0. And then 003. Two more zeros. Here's your C chord with your pinky again. And then 0, 1, so just lift up your pinky. And then 003. Lose the 3. D7 shape, don't put on the bottom. Lose your index finger. Hit the 2, you're already holding it down, and then 0, 0. Okay, let's go back to the top and play the whole thing. Measure 6, measure 7. Put a full G chord on. You're skipping 16. You're going to play 17. Full G chord on. Doesn't that sound pretty? Now, when we first run into this, you've had Spaghetti Monster, you've had Three Blind Mice. When we get to Brahms Lullaby, it can be a little overwhelming because you're like, oh, I think I understood what we were doing on those, but that's because the chord structure was not as complex as Brahms Lullaby. Spaghetti Monster is pretty complex, but Three Blind Mice, you're only using one chord. This one, you're using 3 different chords, and then you're not necessarily always using, thanks, Rob, see you soon. This one, sometimes you're using the full chord. Sometimes you're using part of the chord. Sometimes you're having to modify the chords. And that is the essence of chord melody play. As you're playing the melody, that doesn't change. And then you're tossing in chords underneath there. And what you notice is that you're having to modify what's going on over here on the left hand to accommodate the melody while you are also simultaneously making most of or part of a chord. And so the whole structure of the thing is very complex, and we want to make sure you understand that if you're struggling a little bit, you should be struggling a little bit. If it were me, I would spend the rest of the night on Three Blind Mice, Brahms Lullaby, and My Spaghetti Monster, because those 3 things are really going to nail down what does Tough Uke, how does that work? If I can get those 3 songs done, everything else we do, every single thing else we do is exactly like Brahms Lullaby. You're going to have chords. Some of them are more complicated than other chord-wise. You're going to have a melody line. The melody line very rarely changes in music. If you're on a certain, like, I will sometimes change the melody if I'm playing a little harmonica, right? I run out of notes, and so I'll have to change the melody line. But it's not really... all of a sudden you have a different song when you do that. And then with ukulele, you take that melody line and you're going to take parts of the chord, stick it in underneath where the melody is going, and that's going to require you to be pretty sophisticated over here. This takes a little bit of time. This isn't going to happen tomorrow. Okay, you're not going to sit down and be like, okay, I played for 15 minutes. I understand Brahms Lullaby. I can play everything. The answer is, if you understand Brahms Lullaby, you can play everything, but it's every single song is going to present you with a new challenge, there's something difficult in every song. In this song, I think the biggest challenge is this C shape for baritone players and F shape for ukulele players with your pinky. I think that takes a little while to get that particular shape down. The other thing that comes up a lot is you're playing 0, 2, 1, you're playing this G chord, but then this pinky or this ring finger has to do all these other jobs while you're still holding those down. So that can be very challenging. And so know that this is how you're going to want to play in the future. You are going to want to play tough. There's no question in my mind that that's how all grown-ups want to play, is this way. And I'll play this song before we get out of here, just so you can really hear what you're working toward. All grown-ups want to, they just soon shut up, right? I don't want to sing tonight. I want to just play some chords. I want the melody to come out of the ukulele so it does all the singing, and I just want to sound beautiful. And this is how we do it, is with tough uke. In every single piece of sheet music I put out, I think 99.8% of every piece of sheet music I ever put out has some type of chord melody arrangement on it. And the big thought there is that's the high level. It's the hard stuff. And you're starting with Brahms Lullaby. And if you spend some time really diving into this, now you notice the entire thing can be played with your thumb on this hand. We haven't even talked about this hand. And so that's important. Jenna says, really notice a difference in tone when right hand thumb rests on the A string. C, E, A. Oh, when it's here. Yeah, there are reasons, right? So if she's got the ukulele, so let me grab this and tell you what she's thinking. I think what Janice is saying is, hey, if I come in and I play that C chord, okay, this is your regular C chord, okay, quite a bit different tone. This is also a C chord, 003, but it sounds different, okay? So there's this C chord, and there's this C chord. The reason this sounds so much better, or not necessarily better, but more complex, is this has when I strum with it here, I have a G note, I have a C note, I have an E note, and I have another C note. When I hold this down, it becomes a C. So I have G, C, E, C. Okay. When I hold it here and I only play 3, now I just have a G, a C, and another G. Okay, so I only have 2 notes going on there, whereas this way I have three technically 4 notes, because this C and this C are an octave apart. So it sounds a lot more full. Here's the thing that goes along with that. When you are playing, if we had a piano, we wouldn't have to make these decisions. We wouldn't have to make these sacrifices. We have all of the possible notes and a whole hand dedicated to accompaniment, and all of the possible notes and a whole hand dedicated to the melody. So you don't run into these compromises. The beauty of this instrument is you only have an octave and a half. From your lowest note up to the most usable note here, it's an octave and a half. If I want to get 2 octaves, I have to go clear down to 15. I'm never going to use this note. Okay, no, that note does not need to be part of our musical lives. So there's really only an octave and a half. When you do that, you have to start making decisions about how much of that chord can I fit under the melody? Where should I place the melody? And as an arranger, it's pure joy. It's like, okay, I got this giant song, Over the Rainbow, doesn't fit on this instrument. So what changes am I going to make to kind of condense it and find a way to make it work on an ukulele? Danny Boy. This is the lowest note on Danny Boy. The highest note is way up here. Not going to play it that way. Got to make some choices. Got to make some changes. Got to adjust the instrument. I have a few more notes on a baritone. That's why sometimes when you are arranging and it doesn't quite fit on here, you're like, doggone it, I'm just going to put it on baritone and not give it to the ukulele players. So that's a real thing. We just have limited number of notes. Now, that's tough uke. I can't emphasize enough how important it is for you to sit down, have faith in yourself, believe it's going to happen, let yourself make a ton of mistakes, do the best you can. It's going to be amazing. But before we get there, if you're like, oh, this is way more, I'm not ready for that. Let's play through the melody. Okay. I'm ukulele players. And on the ukulele sheet music, baritone players, hang out for just a second. Let's play the melody. 1, 2. 003, 003, 033, 2003, 201, 201, 21203, 003. 013, beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna switch to baritone real quick. We'll play the same thing. So ukulele players, you sit out for a second. Baritone players, let's play the melody. Now, if you're putting the baby to sleep, you don't need to do tough uke, right? You just need to play that melody. Okay, from baritone players, 1, 2. Oh, oh, 3. Oh, 3, 3, 2. Oh, 3, 2. Oh, 1, 2, 2. Oh, 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, 3, 2, 3. Oh, oh, 3. Oh, 1, 3. Oh, 1, 3. Oh, 3. Oh, oh, 3. Oh, 1, 3. Oh, 1. Oh, 2. Okay, so now what was interesting to me is I played those first two notes. They sounded wrong because I had my ear in the key of C on ukulele, and then I grabbed the baritone. The first two notes sound wrong because they're in a different key, even though they are correct. And so when you're thinking about playing music, if I am a trumpet player, that's the line that I play. I can only do one note at a time. If I am anybody in the brass, anybody in the reed section, anybody in the woodwinds, I can only play one note at a time, and so that's the line I'm playing. So that's not unimportant. You need to be able to do that. And then we're lucky on these instruments because we can then also add in the chords. And if you go to the symphony, there's the main, whoever's playing the melody is a small group, and everybody else in that symphony is playing some portion of the chord to create this big, beautiful sound that they do. And now, to wrap up for the day, you'll notice we didn't talk about chords at all. And if you go to your local ukulele strum along, or you take most lessons from most of the ukulele teachers on YouTube, they're going to talk to you about only the chords, and then you have to sing. Okay, and if you love singing, that's awesome. If you hate singing, that's a sad road to go down. So don't go down that road. Go down this road. You let the ukulele do the work for you, and then your job is just to make sure you're plucking the right things. And it's a lifelong delightful escape pod into legitimate high-level musicianship. I want to play both versions of this. I want to play the baritone version of it for you just one time through, and then I want to play the ukulele version through, and let you hear what it sounds like. I think on baritone, instead of using my thumb, just as an example, I'm going to use my claw. Okay, we'll play it with the claw. You play it any way you want, or just listen, right? And just listen. Your job over the next 23 hours is to see how far along you can get this song, so that when we play it tomorrow, you will be all set. Now, last Friday, we had your first ever, probably, ukulele concert where you were the star. Next tomorrow, you're the star again, right? I will be conducting you by playing along with you, but your job is to bring your A game. From the strumming in the key of C major sheet, we will do a couple of the songs on page 2. So I would look at that. My Spaghetti Monster, we will play it first ukulele wise, and then we will play it baritone wise. So if we're playing the other instrument that you don't have in your hand, you'll sit out on that one. Okay, but we'll play both versions of it. Then we will play Three Blind Mice, both baritone and ukulele. You want to have both of those sheets printed out probably, because you're gonna, if you're looking at the ukulele sheet music and you have a baritone, you need to do this C chord. And if you are looking at the baritone music and you have a ukulele in your hand, you're going to be using this G chord. Okay, so it's going to depend on which version we're playing, what chord shape you use, and I'll help you out with that tomorrow. And then our big finale for tomorrow will be Brahms Lullaby, and we'll play it on both instruments, and your job will be to do the best you can. You may have figured out that at no point have I ever talked about perfection. At no point have I ever talked about getting things in proper timing, because those things are myths that are perpetuated by people who are trying to sell you lessons. you are going to make a ton of mistakes, and you should make a ton of mistakes. And there will come a day when the mistakes get when certain types of mistakes go down. But if you're not pushing yourself at this high level and not making a whole new set of mistakes, you're just really not. That's the only way to progress, is to make a lot of mistakes. And so if you're screwing this up big time, you're doing the right thing. And our job is to get you the knowledge and the skill set to do it better. And then, of course, timing. There's a lot of talk out in the musical world about playing to a metronome. I give you this as your takeaway on that thought. Those of you, some of you have music background. You will never, in the history of your life, see any type of meaningful music that doesn't have either a human conductor or a human drummer. Okay, because you will never see music being created just with a metronome, with a machine-powered beat counter. You'll see electronic music done that way, but in terms of real music made with real instruments by real people, you have to have either a real conductor or a real drummer, because tempos change, and they change, as you know, many times within a song and moments. And to get things to where they mean something on a human level, you have to have the beat be adjustable. And so I am not a fan of metronomes. There is a place and a time for a metronome, and I will tell you about where that is eventually. But right now, don't worry about your timing. When you come here, you're trying to play with me. I'm serving as a de facto metronome, but it is not something that I feel like you need to be thinking about right now. Please don't be getting metronomes will ruin the joy of making music at your level at this point. I bring a metronome out when I'm getting close to being ready to put something on for a concert, and I have the songs memorized, and I really want to just double check that my timing is good. But outside of that, I don't use them, because I think that this business of having to play exactly to a perfect timing, it's not necessary, it's not human, and it's not fun. All right, I'm going to play Barrett's Brahms Lullaby one time through on baritone. I'm going to use the claw. 1, 2. Okay, I forgot to skip over to major 17. There it is on baritone. That's what you're going for. That's I've been playing ukulele about 20 years, not quite 20, and I can finally do that. Okay, let's try it on ukulele. My doodad here is all screwed up. If you don't have a strap on your ukulele, you want to get one. Instead of doing plucking like I did on the last way, this time I'm just going to use my thumb. Okay, 1, 2. Isn't that beautiful? It's real legit. I mean, Brahms knew what he was doing when he was writing music, and that's good stuff right there. So you're playing legit classical music, and every single thing else that we do going forward, we'll have that as one of the possibilities for you to play it that way. So I will see all of you guys tomorrow. Come ready for concert. Dress up a little bit pretty. Show up a minute or two early. Warm up a little bit before you actually log on, so that you're playing at the top level. And tonight is the night to make sure you have your sheet music in good shape, and be thinking about this weekend's coming. We're going to do Random Act of Kindness weekend, right? We got to find something silly to do for somebody. You're being safe. You're practicing tonight. You probably do need to put in just a little bit of time practicing, because this is complex stuff. And the sooner you get where you're like, yep, I see what's going on here, the easier it does for the other stuff that we do. Keep showing up. That's going to be the key, right? That's going to be what makes you a good player. If you're logged in, if you would like and subscribe down here with the thumbs up button, that would be helpful for me, I think. They're telling me it is. And if you haven't become a member of the Jolly Roger website, you might want to think about it. Here in February, you're going to probably want to have a membership, because we're going to be putting in some new pretty cool music up into the membership area, and you'll have to be members to do that. Feel free to come to the next hour class. We're working on getting set up for a concert at the end of the month, and we're playing some really beautiful songs, and there's no reason not to have it in your book. And I will see all of you guys tomorrow, either in the next hour or tomorrow. Hope you're having a great day. Hope the wind calms down for all of us. A little bit intense the other night. Last night, what is today? I don't have any idea what day it is anymore. And hopefully everybody will have perfect weather tomorrow, unless it's snowing like crazy, which is what we want even more than perfect weather, right? And I'll see you guys down the road. Have a wonderful afternoon. Let's see. Ray, good to see you, bud. Thanks, Vic. I'll see you in a little while. Janice, beautiful tune. Thank you. It is a beautiful tune, right? Really, really nice tune. And you're welcome, Mary. All right, pulling the plug. You guys have a great day.